What if discipline was a community and homework was done in 3D? Who knew lunch could be the greatest space for invention and recess like a spa? What if grades could talk to you and rules were like Legos? Are you ready to live the future of education? Well, that's what our faculty here at School of Columbia University have been working on for the last 8-9 months. And I'm standing here inside one of the pop-up houses that has been produced as a result of their 9 months work learning about design thinking. This is the Discipline House, and what you see here on the Discipline wall is the original idea that faculty had when they thought we should rethink discipline, and the actual deliverables or assets right here, which was really a text piece explaining about the future of discipline and a visual component of that. So here's how we do it. We define the problem, we research the problem, we analyze and redefine the problem, and then we ideate solutions, sometimes many solutions. Then we prototype those solutions and go and refine those solutions. And we repeat as needed until we choose the solution. And then we implement the solution.
Roof down, the sun came shining in.
The first stage of the design thinking process is to define the problem. So some faculty at the School of Columbia looked and tried to rethink homework. They thought about homework and what it should look like in the future, or what should homework look like for the 21st century student in the 21st century classroom or the 21st century at home. Should homework be reinforcing what they've learned during the day, or should it be something completely different? We've heard a lot about the flipped classroom in the last few months. But how about putting the classroom on cartwheels?
Everything seemed perfect till I had you on my mind.
And so in the research phase, faculty looked, asked questions to students of various ages to try and find out what they thought recess should be. They took a historical look at recess throughout education, starting back in the 1800s up right to the current day. And faculty also looked at the current landscape of recess and how recess plays out in urban schools and suburban schools. Does space affect recess? What are the factors that affect recess? What part of the day should it lie in? Should it be in the middle of the day? Should recess happen first thing in the morning? Should it happen in the afternoon? All these factors played a big part into the research on the recess process. So after compiling all their research, the history, the landscape, and looking at a lot of video footage, we came up essentially with the fact that lunch wasn't just about eating. Our research showed that lunch was actually about socialization, and actually kids wanting to do other stuff while they were eating. So faculty concluded from this that the socializing part of lunch, as well as doing an activity during lunch, was actually just as important as eating food.
The right part of leaving turned out to be wrong. If I could kiss you.
So after the ideation step of the design thinking process, the ideation step you see right behind me depicted here in the grading house is the prototyping phase. Prototyping is essentially testing out your proposed solution on a small group of people before you push it out right through to the masses. So at this stage, a couple of faculty are interested in prototyping the grading solutions that they've figured out. The grading solutions behind me can be distilled down into two questions. One is, what if grading was growing? The other is, what if grading was a conversation? So the thinking here with 21st century grading, to make it appropriate, is that it should be about continuous feedback, so that the notion of an end-of-term grade or an end-of-term report is quite dated. That the conversation of
grading or assessment, or whatever you wish to call it, should be continuous throughout the year for the student.
Where you at?